Yes, so as Mike was saying, Kireet is going to be doing a speech tonight on negotiating the best outcome. His speech title is Listening to Understand and Responding with Intent. The purpose of his speech, or the purpose of this project, is for the member to learn about different types of negotiation and the strategies that can be used when negotiating. And the purpose of the speech is for the member to share some aspect of past or future negotiation in his or her life. Negotiation style, strategies, and outcomes vary greatly and depend on all parties. Kireet Kokala, I hope I said that right, will outline two similar incidents that were separated by 14 years and how honing negotiation skills out of necessity was a great learning tool. Kireet.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster and Madam Evaluator, for the introduction. Fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, good evening. It's story time tonight. So let's go back 24 years to 1995 on a hot summer day. I had no idea that I was also up against some very tough lessons in negotiating. As a kid growing up, as an 11-year-old kid growing up in India, I wasn't supposed to legally drive my mom's scooter, but I did. And when a policeman stopped me, I panicked. And at the time, I thought the best way to get out of my predicament was make haste, lie, and avoid any unpleasantries. I didn't feel good about lying to the constable, but I had to. And I also lost my weekly allowance of 20 rupees because I bribed him. Actually, I was surprised when he accepted the bribe. But I was puzzled that he wasn't bothered by the lies that were coming out of my mouth. First question, how old are you? 16. Fail. He didn't mind. Second question, you shouldn't be driving that scooter. I said, oh, well, I wasn't really driving it, sir. I was just riding it downhill because it was out of gas and I had to fill her up. So much for applying high school physics. Felt pretty smug. But when I look back on this event, I think about it with guilty knowledge. And that's because on one hand, if you apply negotiating etiquette to this event, it's obvious I proposed a win-win situation. And I had statements in there in that conversation with the cop saying, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do this again. Please let me go, as a kid. But on the other hand, there were two things I missed, two crucial points. I did not listen to understand the policeman. I listened to respond, not to understand. And I also responded with the intent to exit the situation versus standing my ground and explaining where I'm coming from. For example, I could have said, I'm a decent student, I want to be a fighter pilot when I grow up, and I have a lot of respect for a policeman because my uncle is a senior police officer. None of that occurred to me because I was panicking. And at the time I also thought that I'll never get a second opportunity to toe the line, remain honest, and negotiate a better outcome in a similar situation. But life has a funny way of repeating itself, right? 10 years ago, I was driving in Flowery Branch, Georgia, and I got a ticket for making a U-turn on an orange light. U-turn on an orange light. The cop said it was red. Imagine a late night, deserted roads, not a soul in sight, almost hit a deer, and out pops a cop. That was the gist of how I got a $400 driving ticket, which I sought to remedy in court. Now I knew that there wasn't going to be a win-win situation this time, but I was going to fight hard and arrive at a compromise. I imagined deep down that, oh, this is going to be like one of those Judge Judy episodes full of melodrama. It'll last 10 harrowing minutes. There'll be some video camera constantly zooming in. It took less than 5. And I also prefaced that event with the following tasks, which will not guarantee anybody similar outcomes, so don't try it. Number 1, I wrote the police officer an apology letter. Number 2, I took my printed resume to court. Number 3, I wore a suit and tie to look sharp and professional. And 4, I was doing my master's at the time, so I got a letter of good conduct. I was decidedly going to use a different strategy. No more lies. No lies. So I told the judge, Your Honor, I am really sorry for breaking the law. I'll accept your punishment, and I plead for a chance to be heard. So I listened to the judge, his concerns, and I listened to understand what he was driving at before I responded with my version, my narration of the events. And he listened to me very carefully, and he took into account everything that occurred. And to my pleasant surprise, he dropped the ticket to $50, 0 points, and cited unfavorable weather conditions. Now, it also helped that the police officer didn't show up to the hearing. But regardless, I listened to understand, which helped me elevate my position, helped me negotiate a better outcome and arrive at a better end state. Now, I definitely felt a higher guiding force guiding me, but in closing, I just want to focus on the main strategy here. This is my secret recipe. You have to be prepared mentally and physically. You also have to listen to understand, because there are many people who participate in that negotiation process. So you have to take into account all these factors to make ad hoc changes if needed. And then you have to respond with the intent to elevate yourself, which would mean that you would influence your end state and arrive at something that's conducive to you. So I hope this was helpful, and don't try it when you get driving tickets.